main benefit, I would say, to having a math coach in the classroom is that there's another person to work with the kids one-on-one and to provide them encouragement and insight and ask them guiding questions. And the math coach knows the kids, and that makes a huge difference. He's not just another adult, but he knows the math and he knows how to get more out of the kids as far as thinking deeply through the math. That's been a huge benefit.
I think the mathematics coaching is something that truly interests me, and I think the students really embraced it and they looked forward to it in class because they knew it was something that they never had to wonder why they were learning it. It kind of made sense, and it showed them that math can really truly be used in the real world, and what they're doing in here is not just sitting in a desk and learning useless information. And I truly saw I really saw a class come together and solve some really difficult problems that were probably a couple grade levels above their math ability, but I mean, just with a couple pushes in the road, they got over roadblocks, and they really did solve problems that had to do with quadratics and things that they've never even seen before. And I noticed that during my student teaching, through my instructional and maybe traditional method of teaching, that the traditional problems were being solved correctly, but anything with words in or anything where they had to kind of apply and use multiple strategies to solve a problem, they were struggling, leaving blank. And I think the biggest thing, they were leaving it blank, not because they were lazy and just wanted to make me mad. They were leaving it blank because they couldn't do it. They had no clue how to approach a problem even with that sense. So I think that when we started doing math coaching problems, I could see the wheels turning, and as we got into later and later chapters, the word problems and the real life application problems, the students would knock out of the park. And even my lower level students who maybe would not be able to solve a traditional problem, they would relate more to this math coaching rich problem because it just kind of gets the kids involved and it gets their heads turning, and the biggest thing is it interests them. So when we talk about interests, and even though it's on a test and they probably don't like tests, I would see just achievement that I never thought I would see before.
Just the conversations that I'm able to have with the math coach and planning for the lesson and then debriefing on the lesson helps me feel like I have a better grasp on my motivation for choosing instructional strategies, and also my clarity on where my students are at. So the conversations that the math coach and I have really are building my confidence because they just help me process what's going on in my classroom, and having another person to do that with is very valuable.
Being a first-year teacher, I was fortunate enough to have a math coach in my classroom, and I think that really made me more confident, and it was someone who I could bounce ideas off of when I was writing my lessons or units, and it helped me show that math isn't just really a procedural sense where Ms. Torrance, my math coach, helped bring in rich problems that we could use as a warm-up, that it could have been in about a topic that students have never even seen before, and it kind of amazed me on how they could solve these math problems and they have never seen the procedural background for it. I think the mathematical coaching has made me realize that math is more applicable to the real world than I ever thought before. I always knew that my main goal and why I teach math, I want to show these students how math's useful, because I think the biggest question we get asked is by my students is, why are we learning this? And I think when I introduced the topic with a math coaching problem, it really made them see the connection, and it really made also me see the connection, how maybe the specific math content I'd be teaching, you can get in such more greater depth than what a typical textbook allows you to do.
We had the students use their own set of scores on a progress monitoring test called a STAR test. And Mr. Pontius and I both worked individually with kids to have them set a goal for a new average score. And then we took the test and the kids all saw their scores shoot up on that one time where we had helped them make a goal. And it wow, their confidence just soared. And I think that it was because, though, of working with Mr. Pontius and I on a personal level, making a personal goal, and then seeing immediate success after that was huge. So there's a girl, Maddie, who had Mr. Pontius in 5th grade and really likes it when he comes in. She asks all the time, is Mr. Pontius coming today? And he worked with Maddie to build a goal for her STAR test. And I think before, her grade point, or her grade equivalent for this test was like a 4.9, which is 4th grade, 9th month of the year. And after they made this goal, she went up to a 7.2. And she needs that personal connection, and otherwise it doesn't seem relevant to her.